All right, so this is the weekly meeting for the Monitor APM team. So looks like Clement and Sophia have the first few, and I don't see them on quite yet. So we'll maybe we can jump to Dove and see if, and we'll come back to the other ones.
Yeah, so I added two agenda items. One of them is on the North Star metric. I don't know if you're familiar. I've linked to the section in the handbook that explain what is the North Star metric, but in a nutshell, this is a product indicator, and every team needs to have a North Star metric, which is a single metric, and it indicates of the work that we are doing, if we are successful on the feature that we are releasing, and the objective is to make sure we will increase the North Star metrics will get increased. So as I mentioned, I quoted from the handbook, every engineer in the group should be aware of the group's North Star metric. So you should be aware of our North Star metric, and I linked to the merge request that define and explain what is the North Star metric. Feel free to add your comments, as always. In a nutshell, our North Star metric is the combination between the number of metrics view and the number of logs view, which means that as a user, if I'm viewing a dashboard, either it's a default dashboard or a custom dashboard, every time I view a dashboard, it counts as a single view. And we want to make sure our users will go back to those dashboards. So this is why we have this as our first metric. Second metric is the log view, the amount of time that a user is accessing the log explorer and doing any action that it does. Every time the page refresh, this is count as a view. And since the North Star metric is single view, is a single metric, we've combined those together into a single one. And this more or less explain what is the direction of this group today. So I know that we are heavily focusing on metrics, but we were focusing on logging a couple of months ago. And I expect us to go between logs and metrics, like try to make sure we are putting enough investment on both areas and both solutions to make sure we'll drive this North Star metric. It makes sense, hopefully. And I also have the next agenda item. So I know, Matt, that you sent the message to the on the Slack channel, but I wanted to raise this issue as well. There was an interesting conversation on the infrastructure group call with Sid on dogfooding metrics. Hopefully you all had the chance to watch it. My take from this conversation, first of all, I think, or I believe, or I actually know that this team has done tremendous work around dogfooding metrics. We put a lot of time and effort on making sure our info team will be able to use our dashboards. And I really believe that after 13.1, maybe 13.2, I'm not sure, depending on the amount of deliverable items we'll be able to release, I think that the info team will really start using and not just looking. Today they are just looking, and they are doing it, you know, when we tell them, can you look and tell us if it makes sense? But I really think that the work that the team is doing after the next iteration, or maybe the one afterward, we'll start seeing the info team really use the metric dashboard, and from that we will get feedback out of that. So I just want to give you my take on this, and yeah, and if you didn't have a chance to watch it, I recommend you will see it as well.
Yeah, it was good to hear Sid's perspective on how important it is to use the product, not just have it. Like his thing was, we're serving the dog food, but we also have to eat it.
Yeah.
So I think our team's doing a good job of that first part of providing it, but now we have to get get people to actually use it and try it out. And it was interesting how much time, I feel like about half that call was spent on talking about dog fooding metrics. So interesting to see how important that seemed to be to Sid. So that was good.
Yeah, and we are taking down some steps. I mean, we have a bi-weekly meeting with the info team, and we will encourage all of you to join if you feel like. It's every second Wednesday. And I think that we are going to add additional people from the info team, more stakeholders. So maybe we'll get some commitment from them on how and when they should start using our features.
Good. Okay. I had one item that just kind of a reminder. I'll do that, and then I can read the other ones here. But just a reminder that we're almost through with 13.0, the milestone. I think we usually say about the 18th, so we have about 5 days left, 4 or 5 days left to kind of wrap everything up. If there are issues that aren't going to make it into 13.0, let us know sooner than later, so we can make sure we're planning 13.1 accordingly. I also linked to the 13.1 planning issue, so you can take a look at some of the goals and what we're planning for 13.1 as well. Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder.
All right, I see Clement just joined, and just in time. Maybe.
Hey, sorry. Yes, I just want to announce that we were previously removing the deliverable label and filler labels that were in verification, but from APM and health team, I was getting feedback that it was confusing. So for now, moving on forward, we won't be removing those labels whenever something is moved to verification. So hopefully this makes clears things up and makes things less confusing. So let me know if you've got any questions about that.
Okay. I can just read through what Sophia had put in here. So there's the quad planning process, which is Sophia from the quality side is helping to refine that, improve collaboration. So there's new labels to help kind of raise awareness of where we are in that process. So there's the quad planning ready label, and then it'll basically be a way besides just kind of manually doing it to raise awareness of that. If anyone has any questions, we can certainly talk about that more.
Yeah, I see that you mentioned that product manager should apply the quad planning ready. Maybe I'll reach out to her if you don't have the details, but on which issues should we do it, or should we do it on all issues? Should I do it for like issues that I think are important? I mean, is there a suggestion around that, or just doing it like across the board for all the issues that we are planning for 13.1 or for the coming iteration? Any idea?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll reach out to Sophia. I'll ask her. I need some clarification.
Sounds good. And then the next one is also from Sophia. She just wanted to let everyone know that if you need extra verification for testing on an MR, you can certainly work with her. It's part of her role is to help with that. So if you are looking for a little extra help with testing, or want to just make her aware. She's a great resource that we can pull in to help with that. Okay. Anyone else have topics they want to bring up in this meeting?
I noticed that in the last, I think 4 or 5 minute meetings, the meeting did not last more than 30 minutes. Do you want to consider reducing the amount of time for this meeting? Do you want to keep it just in case? I mean, I'm open for either.
I think don't want to put you all on the spot, but I think it'd be really cool to learn more about kind of some of the user interviews or maybe some of the murals. Going through that during some of this extra time would be helpful to help us better understand kind of our users and kind of where we're going.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Regardless of what I just said, I think me and Nadia already spoke about it, that we need to advocate more on the work that myself and her are doing in regards to the user interviews. And we are doing like research issues almost like in every milestone or every second milestone. And out of that come out an opportunity canvas where I'm presenting to our VP of product the work that we did and why I think that this is the direction, and I'm getting his approval and sign off. I think it's important for all of you first to be aware of the work that we are doing, so understand that we are not working on a void, and we are not like inventing things. And also to know, as you mentioned, to know our users. So definitely something that I would like to bring into the meeting. I wonder if what I was thinking is, I mean, we are doing all kinds of interviews. Do you think will it be useful to try to bring like the research that are more relevant to what the team is doing? Because for instance, I've done like the competitive analysis for logging, which I think is important, but it's not like relevant today. It can be relevant like in a month or 2 months or something like that. And we just conclude the Grafana research, which is something that is relevant for today. So I was thinking maybe after we'll refine this research, we will present it to the team because it's very relevant. What do you think? Or you just like, you don't care, you just want to hear what our users are doing? I mean,
I think that it would be for the most use to see the most relevant parts. So everyone involved in the number of asynchronous discussions can have that in the back of their mind. What is the user expectation, and if the research was made quite pure, the actual usage of this knowledge, it can be that some things may slip because of that. So I believe the most useful would be to focus on the most relevant topics, but this is just my take.
Yeah, so right now in this milestone, we're working on research around Grafana, how our users use Grafana. So we're drilling into some of the specific preferences or any likes and dislikes about the Grafana user experience. And we've interviewed both external and internal participants for that research. So I am planning to share more about it probably in our next meeting, because this week I'm working on research analysis. So we've just wrapped up interviews and I'm going to work on analyzing everything and summarizing everything and into some kind of digestible insights. So I'll be sharing that. Yeah, so just on this call, it's the end of the milestone. So we're kind of still wrapping things up, but in the future, for sure, we want to be doing more of that. And I'm sure it will be helpful to everyone. And also, we're going to be sharing stuff in Slack. I've been sharing a little bit here and there, some updates on the user experience, the research that we're running. So yeah, just keep an eye out in the APM channel.
Cool. I think this is it for this call, right, Matt?
Yep. Yeah, we can, to get back to your question, Dov, we can think about if we want to shorten this to maybe a 30-minute meeting. I think we most of the time would still have time to get through everything, including some topics like user research. We also could use the time we used to go over the boards to kind of review them. We could spend some time on that. I'm not sure if that's useful for the whole group or not, but we can think about that as well going forward.
Okay. I know we used to do that. I just want to make sure that it's like a useful span of time of the entire team. I know, and I don't mind going through the board. I'm not sure if it's relevant to everyone. So maybe something we can ask the team and see what makes sense.
One thing I just thought about is that I could probably use this time for, just getting some feedback from the rest of our team on some of the designs that I'm working on, because we do collaborate a lot asynchronously in issues, but I don't think all of the kind of design decisions that we make trickle down to the rest of the team. Like only usually a few people are involved, which is understandable because everyone is dealing with their own amount of work. So, I don't want to tag the whole APM team, for example, on the different things, but sometimes it can be useful to get more opinions. So I think these meetings can be a good chance to, get the rest of the team involved in some of this decision making. Maybe you can help us catch any weird parts of the experience, and just do some like quick and dirty solution validation. I think sometimes that can be helpful. Maybe not for every meeting, but I think there are definitely ways for us to leverage this time better. And if we were all stopping whatever we're doing and getting on a call, then we might as well use this time. It's only once a week.
Yeah, I like this idea. Definitely add it to the agenda.
Yeah, great. Okay, I think that's it for this week, and then maybe we can start iterating a little bit on this meeting going forward and adding some more kind of meaty topics to cover starting next week. That'd be great. All right, thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.